Hello Year 10 and welcome to our third lesson on the non-examined assessment. My name is Mario Fellaini and I'm here to teach you about the work of others, reviewing the work of others. For those of you that don't know, Mario Fellaini was a footballer, played for Man United, had a big afro. So what we're going to look at today, first of all, we'll start off with a bit of a recap, but just a reminder, do try and keep a link to our YouTube channel, maybe subscribe. It just means you'll be able to find all these videos much easier in the future. So quick recap of what we did last week and the week before. So we've reviewed the contexts. That was via a mind map. You've picked a context, you've now picked a project, you filled in a survey, and we've responded to that survey. I think I've written nearly 3,000 words of feedback so far. Hopefully you've had a chance to sort of digest that and decide on which project you're going to do. And from there, you've then gone on and you've produced a further mind map for your actual chosen product and a research plan and a conclusion. And that's all been put together into one succinct, good looking page. And I've seen a couple of examples already from people who've emailed me just to check to see if they've done the right thing. And really good looking work. I'm really chuffed so far at how well you guys are undertaking this, and just by giving it a go, you're doing a cracking job. So well done to everyone who has shown me bits of work so far. As ever, just keep submitting it. I'll give you some feedback, and we will give you a whole class feedback on the mind map page next week once we've had a chance to review the work you submitted this week. So that was previous. What we're going to go on to today is, as I say, reviewing the work of others. Why? Well, here's the mark scheme again. In the green is what I want to look at today. I've called it product analysis, but it's all focused on the reviewing the work of others. So to get into the 9 to 10 marks, on the right hand side there, it says comprehensive investigation into the work of others that clearly informs ideas. Yeah, you can review the work of others, but actually you've got to show that how that's going to be useful as we move forward. You can't just go, I did a product analysis, it's all good. What we want to do is explain how that's going to be useful. And we've got to make sure we relate it to our context and our chosen challenge. Okay, so why do we look at the work of others? Pause for a moment, have a little think, and I'm going to go on to the answers on the next slide. So why do we look at the work of others? So first and foremost, to get some inspiration. Very few products are designed completely in isolation. More often than not, products are designed where they take existing ideas from some products and existing ideas from another product and merge it into something else. You take some new ideas into a product, but very few products are designed completely from scratch. So inspiration. Understanding how products work. One thing that most designers do, particularly when you're in competition with another company, is you take apart their product. You have a look, how does that work? What does it do? And then you can try and incorporate some of those good ideas into your product. Understand how products are made, similar to understanding how things work, how things are made is going to be really important for you to come up with how you might make and design your product in the future. And then also to identify problems, okay, and identify things that actually work well in a product, so you can fix the problems, use some of the good ideas, and also we'll use reviewing the work of others to plan our future research. So we might do this piece of research today and go, oh, actually, I want to look into that a little bit more detail because that could be really useful as an idea for my project. I've got a bit of hair sticking out there. So that is why we're doing it. We're now going to go through the how are you going to do it. We're going to actually look at 2 pages today. Hopefully the first one's a little bit easier for us to engage with. So we're going to look at a mood board. I like a mood board because actually they're quite straightforward to do, but they can be challenging to do really well, and we'll look at how that's going to be the case in a moment. So task 1, we need to collect a load of images. I've said 20 plus, that's a good number, but more the merrier. And I would try and group these images together. So existing products that solve your problem. The example you're going to see is going to be a lamp. Me and Miss Anderson have decided we're going to pick the context of a multifunctional product, and we're going to then our product itself is going to be a lamp with some extra functions, and that's what we're going to use as our waggle all the way through. So there's a couple of you doing lamps of some sort, so that might be a bit of a bonus, but generally we just have to pick one product so you can see the process we're undertaking. So there's going to be some existing lamps on there. Related products linked to the project. So I've looked on mine as some other bits that might link to the project, and I've also looked at some images that I could use for inspiration. Okay, and you'll see what those are in a moment. And we're going to group those similar images together, so you don't just have random images all over the place. We group the similar bits together. Okay, so we look at the waggle now. So here's a waggle of a mood board, just a collection of images. I've got all the lamps on the left hand side. I've got some desk organizer bits and stationery on the right hand side. I've got some nature images, and I've got some pictures of some desks. Yay, some pictures. At the end of the day, on its own, this page isn't worth anything. Okay, so it's a waggle, but it's not worth anything. And what we're going to look at now is how we analyze this information, because this page has got tons of info on it, but you've not proven that you know anything about it. You've proven that you can copy and paste off Google at this point. What we're looking for, though, is can we prove that we can unpick and use this information? Okay. You could, in theory, do this completely by hand as well. You don't have to use Google to do copy and paste. You could go through Argos catalogues, magazines, and cut things out and stick them down onto a piece of paper. That will also work for you. So the next part of the mood board. It should take about 10 minutes. You want to explain what images you've collected and why have you collected them, and explain what ideas and inspiration you have got from these images. Once again, there is a waggle on the next page. I made this waggle, and at the end of it, I'm not overly happy with the format I've gone for. So when you come to do this, you can create your own format. So here's my waggle. I put a a box over everything and changed its colour slightly to make it slightly transparent, so the writing would stand out. So you can't really see the mood board as well, but you can see the writing a little bit more. So I've explained here, and I'm just going to read through the example in the light box on the left hand side here. In this area, I have looked at a range of different lamps that go on desks. I like the lights where you can not see the bulb or the LED. I'm also a fan of the ideas that are either curvy or a frame shape. So I've sort of unpicked. These are the bits I like. This is the bits I'm maybe not so keen on. And that's really useful to take your ideas forward. That's all I'm looking for on the mood board. So I've unpicked some bits about the nature images, the architecture images there. Why have I put them on there? How is this going to be useful to me? Okay, so I might use some of the shapes I've seen. I might use some of the ideas for how the stand works or the light works or how different pens are held. Those are some of the ideas I might take forward. I'm not saying I will, just ideas. But this is a really nice page just to start getting the creative juices flowing. So moving on. So the product analysis is the main part of this task today. Now, product analysis can be quite a bit of writing. Okay, you can come up with your own solution how you're going to format this and make it maybe less writing, use bullet points or a table to sort of show the different bits of information. But the first thing you need to do is find a product you're going to analyze. Whereas the mood board was a lot of images that are what we call secondary information, they're stuff you found off the internet mainly, I would probably suggest looking at doing a product analysis on a real life product that you have access to. That might not be the case though. So in our example, you will see in a bit, our waggle is one of Miss Anderson's lamps from home. So she was able to take photos of it. She was able to use it and actually explain about it in much more detail. So my advice would always be to try and do some primary research here, but that might not always be the case. Okay, now if you're making a lamp, which is what we're saying we're doing, that's nice and easy. Lamps exist, they're in shops, we have them in our home, we can write about them. However, if you are making a product that does not yet exist, and as some of you are making completely new products, you'll have to find a product that either solves the problem. So if you've got a product that doesn't exist, but there's other products out there that might do some of what you want yours to do, maybe pick that. Or you might just pick a product that's similar, not the same, but similar to the type of product you are going to make. So that means you can then use some of those ideas, but you'll have to still come up with your own ideas. Okay, once you've got your photos, and I would suggest photos rather than just one photo of a product, we're going to use Access FM to analyze our chosen product. That's an acronym that stands for Aesthetics, Cost, Consumer, Environment, Size, Safety, Function, and Manufacture. Don't worry, you don't need to remember it. It's on the next set of slides. I would also like you to pay special attention to F, A, and M. So this is where I try and sound down with the kids and say it's da DT fam man. The FAM, function, aesthetic, and manufacture are the three big ones that you're going to learn the most about that you can take forward. So that's where you want to spend a bit more extra time, and then we'll write to conclusion to finish. So going through these next few slides, pause at each slide that you get to so you can write out some notes, and we'll see where we get to here. So first slide. So Access FM, function and function, aesthetics and cost there. We'll look at function, aesthetics and manufacture as the FAM in a moment. So aesthetics, one of our key words we've been through many times before, write about what the product looks like, what colour it is, what shape it is, what theme, what texture. Okay, so you're looking at overall appearance. Then we're going to do some looking at the cost. Now you might know the cost, which is great. You can write about how much it costs to buy. You're probably going to have to estimate how much it's cost to make. Now in the past, let's take my lamp here, I've had students write, okay, I think this lamp costs £20 to buy. Cool, fine, it probably did cost about that. I also think this product cost about £50 to make. Just thinking about that, would the manufacturer of this product actually make money if they cost £50 to make and they're selling them for £20? They're losing £30 on each one. So just be sensible there. Are they going to actually make it so it actually costs more to make than to sell? Have a little think. And then you can make a judgment, is it good value for money? Why do you think it's good value for money? So try and add as much explanation, reason behind that. So that's A and C. Now we get C and E. So consumer and environment. So by consumer, we mean the user, the customer, okay, the client. Who is it going to be? Who is this product that you're looking at here? Who's it designed for? How old are they? What gender are they? How much wealth do they have? So how much money can they spend on this product? What are their hobbies and interests? Environment could be twofold. It could be looking at the environment in terms of how good it is for the environment, sustainability, those type of words there, recycling, reusing materials, etc. How can you dispose of it? How much packaging it has? But also we could look at environment in terms of its location. What environment will it be used in? Okay, so you write about where this product is going to be used. So if it's a really fancy desk lamp, it's unlikely to be used on a desk in a school, more likely to be used in a nice fancy office. So you talk about the type of environment that it may be used in. Moving on to S and S. Size and safety. So size, if you're doing this off the internet, you might be able to find the Argos catalogue page that tells you how big and wide and tall things are. If not, there's a solution if it's a real product in your house. You could measure it. The amount of times I've had students ask me, oh, sir, can I go on the internet to measure how big my pen is? Ruler? You guys are capable of solving this yourself. So get a ruler, measure things, weigh things. If you don't have some scales, which I'm sure you might be able to find some scales at home, find something that you know the weight of. So a bag of sugar is a kilo, and go, actually it weighs more than that, so it's about 2 kilos. You could do that. Safety, if you've got a real product, this is where you can really get good at understanding if it's safe. Try using it. Is it safe? Does it break easily? Don't break products. Parents might hurt you or me. So what are the safety features? How has it been made safe? Could it be made safer? Are there any small parts you could swallow? Are there sharp edges? Does it have a weak point that you can easily see? But please don't break products. So moving on to the big two at the end here, F and M. The function and manufacture. So the reason why these are important, one, we want to know how the product works. Okay, so we can take those ideas forward into your product. We want to know where it doesn't work well and where it does work well. We can also then take some of the ideas for how it works and put them into your product as well. So judging whether it works well is also important, but that's why we're looking at the function. And why we're looking at the manufacturer, at the end of the day, next year, you will make this product. Well, you will make a product. And this product that you will make, you want to have as many ideas as to how you can make it. So what materials it's made from, how are things cut apart, how are things joined together. At the end of the day, when you do make a product, the two main things you do is you cut some material up, then you join it back together in a different way. And that's how we make things. So how have they done that? How have they cut material up, or have they formed the materials? A piece of plastic, has it been bent, shaped, molded into something? Try and unpick, how do you think it's been made? Are there screws in there? Are there bolts in there? Is it glued together? Okay, so unpick those. Okay, this is where you can get some really close-up photos as well. It'd be really useful to explain how bits are joined together. So moving on, we'll look at the conclusion. So for the conclusion, this is really important. Okay, I don't want you to just write on this page, I have looked at the work of others. That's a bad conclusion, because that's not actually concluding, that's just telling me what you've done. By doing the work, I can see what you have done. The examiner can see what you have done. What the conclusion should be is you explaining what you found out and how is that useful to your project. Okay, that's the key bit. What have you found out and how is it going to be useful? How is it linked to your project? If you go back to the mark scheme, in the bit on the top left of that page, it says it links to the context. So this research needs a link to the context. How is it useful? How is it linked to your project? How are you going to use it? So what do you like and dislike about the work or product? What have you learned from looking at the product? How might this help your designing and making? And what key piece of information, if you were to pick out one or two key pieces of information you're going to use later in your designing or your making, what are they? That's the conclusion. That's what we're looking for. We want to really highlight, I've done a conclusion. And what you'll see on conclusion boxes is we try and ask you to put them in a different colour. Now, in the first instance, myself, Miss Anderson, we will be marking your non-exam assessment before the moderator does, who's the examiner, the external person. Little hint here or tip, examiners, teachers, okay, we're inherently lazy. All humans are inherently lazy. If you can make it easy for me to give you marks, I'll give you marks, and it'll be really quick and easy. And the best way of doing that is to highlight the conclusion. So put it in a different box. So it's like, look, I've done a conclusion. It is here. That will help me or whoever's marking it give you those marks really nice and quick. If you've got lots and lots of text, just you've written an entire page of writing, whilst that, I'm sure a lot of that will be really, really good, there's so much to read, it's very easy for somebody to miss a key point that you've written. Okay, for what we need to do here, you don't need to do tons and tons of writing. What you do need to do, though, is make it clear what you've found out. So I'll show you the waggle in a moment. Here is my waggle. I say my waggle, Miss Anderson actually produced this. And as you can see here, as I was talking about on the last page, the conclusion. It's in a blue box, and Miss Anderson's going to keep the waggles in a blue box all the way through her project. So anytime I look at a page, I know, oh, that's where the conclusion is. That's where I can find out what this person's learned. And that's really, really important. Okay, we've gone for bullet points. It's actually really easy, this page, to see where the key points are, see what we've learned from. There's some longer bits of text and some shorter bullet points. It's a really nice page. There's multiple photos from different angles focusing on different parts so you can see how it works. This is definitely a waggle. Okay, so do have a read through, see what type of things been written, use the questions on the previous slides. And then on the next slide, we have some hints and tips for you. So here we have the final slide. Okay, just some hints and tips for your pages. Make sure you have clear images. If you're taking an image from Google, okay, it's best to click on the image, allow it to open the web page and find the image on that web page. If it's just a Google image search, it's like tiny, okay, and that doesn't actually show up particularly well in your PowerPoints, so open it properly. Keep your subheadings clear and separate so you can move them around, they're nice and bold. Don't just sort of have them sort of merge into your text, so it's really easy for somebody to find key bits of information. It's really easy for you to improve on bits. If you say, oh, can you just improve that bit of writing about function, you can find it rather than having to read loads of stuff. Bullet points and lists and tables, really useful. Conclusions in different colors we've talked about. Credit where images come from. So you can see in the bottom right there's a little bit that says figure 1, and it says where the link to that image is. And where we've got images here, I like using the term like figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and then you can write, as you can see in figure 1, this product does X, Y, and Z. So your writing becomes a lot easier. If you've got multiple images on a page as well, you can, if you're writing about them, you might not be clear which one you're writing about, so labeling your images is really important. You can, if you want, just get a separate page of credits, like a bibliography, where you can just put all the links to all the images and bits you found out onto one page and just say which page, link it to which page it is, and that way you can sort of covering yourself there. So that is, at this point, about 22 minutes worth of video. Hopefully you've paused it at various times to complete different tasks. As ever, get in touch if you've got any questions. Okay, do your best in all this. We will give you feedback as often as we can. Okay, that's our plan. We'll continue doing these videos. If you have any feedback on the videos and how we're explaining things, do also send them in, because if we can help you guys get better, I'd quite like to do that. Anyway, hope you're all well, and I'll have to think about what else I can wear on my head for next week. Take care and goodbye.